Hi, I'm Chrystyne Olivieri, your paleo practitioner. And today you're in for a treat, because today I'm going to be interviewing Mr. Adam Macaluso, who is a type 1 diabetic. Type 1 diabetes is formally known as juvenile diabetes and is often diagnosed in childhood. It is a disease of a complete lack of insulin production from the beta cells, which happens over a very short period of time, usually weeks to only a couple of months. Life cannot be consistent with type 1 diabetes without daily insulin injections. Now, Mr. Macaluso was diagnosed with diabetes in infancy. He was 18 months old at the time. So he's had diabetes now for 27 of his 29 years. He has been using an insulin pump for the past 10 years or so. So without any more delay, let me introduce Mr. Adam Macaluso. Hi, Adam. How are you today?
I think I'm doing pretty good.
Great. So as a person with type 1 diabetes, do you believe the paleo lifestyle is compatible for those with diabetes?
Absolutely. I think paleo is, well, compatible for all human digestion, for one thing, but diabetes specifically, because I take my insulin based on carbohydrates that I eat, and if I'm eating fewer carbohydrates, taking less insulin, which is overall healthier, I think.
Wonderful. How has paleo eating patterns impacted your daily insulin usage?
That's something I'm excited about. Since I was introduced to the paleo lifestyle, my insulin usage has dropped, I'm going to say only about 30% because I only am partially paleo. But I'm eating less carbs, I'm eating much less starches, and I'm taking less insulin for it. So it's a lot more convenient for me with pump usage and insulin usage.
Excellent. And since discovering paleo eating patterns, tell me about your day-to-day glucose control.
My glucose control is a lot easier and a lot more predictable. I have fewer spikes, and when I do have a spike, it's my own fault because I forgot to take insulin at the right time. And they don't go nearly as high. I haven't had any low blood sugar in the past year since I've discovered paleo. And any high blood sugar is my own fault for not having taken enough insulin for it. But it's so much more predictable with the paleo eating style.
Very interesting. And would you consider yourself to be a soft paleo or a hardcore paleo? And do you ever make exceptions?
I definitely consider myself to be a soft paleo, although there are some weeks, some days at a time that I am completely paleo because it's easier some days than others. I don't consider it as a major impact on my lifestyle at all. I simply don't have French fries or don't have potato chips or take the bun off of my burger. I'm getting just as much food and I'm getting just as full from the food that I eat. I just am not eating the complex carbs for it. And it's definitely as easy. I have to avoid some common foods.
Okay. Does exercise fit into your life?
I exercise when I want to. I'm a 29-year-old bachelor who lives on his own, and I don't have a workout partner, but I like to go running, especially in the warmer weather. I exercise rarely, and not enough, but I have the energy to when I do, and it is revitalizing. I feel more energetic and more able to go running in the past year since I've been eating a moderate paleo diet than I did formerly. So I'm more energetic, but that doesn't necessarily lead to my exercise regime. That's
okay. That's okay. Do you think eating paleo affects your risk for hypoglycemia?
I definitely think it does, but it doesn't make me more at risk. I think it makes me less at risk. Based on my experience, at least, I've had less hypoglycemia, none in the past year, because eating paleo makes my diabetes more predictable. Makes my insulin usage more predictable. So it's easier to avoid the low blood sugars as it is easier to avoid the high blood sugars. So paleo definitely has an effect, but a positive effect on hypoglycemia.
Wow, wow. And eating paleo means giving up on some foods that are quite popular in our culture. How do you feel about that?
I have no problem giving up on what are considered the popular foods. I never particularly enjoyed French fries or white potatoes, we'll say potato chips and everything along those lines. But when I had them, it was a craving for salt. And the first day going deep into paleo, first day going 100% paleo, you have a yearning for it. The second day, you don't even miss it. It's very easy to avoid them. It's very easy to replace fries with a salad or with asparagus or broccoli, whatever the restaurant offers. Very easy to replace these things. It's just whether you have the mental capacity to really want to get rid of what is toxic in your diet.
Very good point. Many people with insulin-dependent diabetes are challenged by big glucose fluctuations throughout the day, making control challenging. Have you eaten off paleo recently, and what happened to your blood sugar then?
I have actually. There's a funny story. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Time is difficult for me. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I actually engorged myself with pizza. It was the first time I had pizza in over a year, and I'm from Long Island, New York. So when I had this pizza, I had 6, 7 slices of pizza, and that filled up my belly. Maybe a little bit too much. I could have a 14-ounce steak and fill up just as much. But after having all this pizza, I thought that I took enough insulin to cover my carbohydrates, but I didn't. I didn't take nearly enough. I needed so much more insulin than I would have thought because I went way off of my diet. I felt awful. I felt awful eating these carbs. Eating the pizza did not.
Bloated?
Yeah, eating the pizza made me feel bloated. Made me feel uncomfortable and unhappy. I felt toxic after eating so much of it. I don't feel so bad eating a little bit, snacking on someone's French fries, but I do feel so bad eating a full plate of pizza or a full plate of pasta. It does not feel good.
Wow. Overall, do you find eating paleo lifestyle a challenge?
Overall, paleo is not particularly difficult, although I think it's fair to say it's a challenge. Everything in life is a challenge if you choose to take on the challenge. But it's whether the challenge is difficult. And paleo is not difficult if you want it. And I do want it. I want to feel better. I want to feel the way I feel when I eat eggs and bacon for breakfast as opposed to a bowl of cereal. I want to feel the way I feel when I eat steak and asparagus for dinner instead of a bowl of pasta. I feel better, and therefore the difficulty is worth the minor challenge.
And that leads to my last question, which is, do you think your decision to eat paleo was worth the effort?
I definitely think that eating paleo is worth the effort, worth every effort. I feel better when I eat foods that are considered paleo, just regular foods that follow the paleo diet. I feel more energetic. I feel more, I feel younger. I feel, I don't know what else to say that I feel, but I feel so much better when I do eat the paleo diet.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Macaluso. And I really hope that you've learned a lot from this session because for type 1 diabetes, which is a very difficult disease to live with from day to day because of the challenges between the interactions of food and insulin, that paleo is really a way to make your life just a little bit easier. One of the points I'd like to make to my other type 1 diabetic patients out there is that man-made insulin, usually just the short or rapid-acting insulins, which are the Humalog, the Apidra, and the Novolog, because these are man-made insulins, they have to last a certain specific period of time. So when you eat a lot of carbohydrates, let's say when Mr. Macaluso ate the pizza, he ate a lot of pizza, which shoots the sugar up very high. Then he takes a lot of insulin, which can make the sugar come down. If he gives himself the right amount of insulin, the sugar will come down very quickly. The problem is that when you've given yourself man-made rapid insulin, it lasts for 4 to 6 hours, although the sugar may not last that long. So this is a problem because then, several hours after eating a lot of carbohydrates like that, you're left chasing down some low blood sugar for hours. And this is a very common problem for people with type 1 diabetes that are trying desperately to bolus the proper amount of insulin for these type of very high glycemic carbohydrates. That's why eating less of those or avoiding them completely and having your carbohydrates mainly from vegetables and some fruit will always make your blood sugar less labile and less fluctuations. So I wanted to thank you very much, Adam, for giving me your time, and thank you for allowing me to be your paleo practitioner.